In a world where the truth is often buried and justice isn't always served, some stories remain unfinished. These are the cases that haunt investigators, baffle communities, and chill us to the core. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to uncover the darkest mysteries, revisit chilling crime scenes, and ask the questions that still demand answers. This is the story of one such case. Unsolved, unsettling, and unforgettable. But stay tuned until the end for a surprise ending. Dana Shailene Fowler Satterfield was born on November 16, 1967, in Spartanburg, South Carolina. She was known for her warm, friendly personality and her dedication to helping others. Dana had a natural talent for hairstyling and aspired to own her own salon someday. Shortly after graduating from high school, Dana married her high school sweetheart. At this time, there is no mention of what this high school sweetheart's name is. Shortly after getting married, they had a daughter named Ashley. Unfortunately, their marriage ended soon after. Dana later married Mike Satterfield, an HVAC business owner. Together they had a son named Brandon. While Mike worked full-time, Dana stayed home with the children and took on various jobs to support the family. As her children grew older, Dana pursued her dream of opening a hair salon. With Mike's support, she converted a mobile trailer into a salon in Roebuck, South Carolina, where she worked long hours to build her business. When she was just 27 years old, she already owned and operated her own beauty salon off State Highway 221 in Roebuck, South Carolina. She was an amazing mother of 2 children, and she had just recently separated from her husband, Mike. July 31st, 1995 started out like any other day. The hours went by, and all seemed well until around 6:30 p.m. A door-to-door saleswoman named Shirley, aka Diane Harris, arrived at her salon, and Dana had bought a bottle of cleaning fluid from her. At 8:11 p.m., Shirley passed by Dana's salon, saw her cleaning up a bit, and waved to her. She then went to visit a few other stores. Later that evening, around 8:30 p.m., Shirley Harris returned to the salon to wait for her ride home when she began hearing strange noises coming from inside. She then saw the lights turn out all of a sudden, and then heard a very loud sound, and she immediately saw a man jump out of one of the windows. She ran to a nearby liquor store to call the police. However, she crossed paths with the man in front of the liquor store. Fearing for her safety, she ran toward the street to flag down a motorist. When that was unsuccessful, she ran to the nearest house and called the police.
Spartanburg 911, what's their request?
I want to report somebody being robbed.
Okay, is there was a house being broke into, or?
No, the lady has a beauty shop up here in front of us, and a man just broke in and robbed her.
Okay, he's still there?
They said he was. Somebody come running to our door, knocking on the door, telling us to call 911.
Police hurried to the salon, where they found a woman who appeared to have been strangled with a duffel bag strap and was left hanging from a hot water heater. The victim, who had bruises on her body, was suspended an inch or so above the floor. Roebuck is a small town, and the officer recognized the lifeless victim as Dana Satterfield. When the deputy sheriff arrived at the salon, they found Dana's body in a closet. It was clear that she had been beaten, I'm not sure if I can say that on YouTube, and strangled. Authorities ruled out robbery as nothing appeared to have been stolen. Her husband Mike was investigated and eliminated as a suspect. Authorities believe that her killer was a predator, a possible serial killer who may have stalked her beforehand. Another witness, Ken Smith, later came forward. He was driving past the salon at around 8:40 p.m. on the night of the murder when he saw a suspicious man nearby. The man was standing next to a car and gave him a dirty look. Based on the time frame and description, it is believed that he was the killer. Despite the witnesses, no one was ever arrested in her murder. A $50,000 reward was being offered for information in the case. The violence of the attack made it seem personal. Rick Gregory, a Spartanburg County solicitor's office investigator stated. A forensics team processed the crime scene for fingerprints, hair samples, and body fluids. Evidence was sent to the lab for analysis. In the meantime, investigators interviewed Harris. During an interview, she nervously explained that she came face-to-face with the man for just a split second. The encounter left her shaken, but she was able to give investigators details needed to create a composite sketch to be released. Police then talked to Dana's husband, Mike, who downplayed stories that the couple's marriage was in trouble. Could he have committed the crime or hired someone else to carry it out? When the victim in a homicide is married, those are standard questions. But after supplying a solid alibi and passing a polygraph test, he was cleared as a suspect. Detectives turned their attention to a witness report of seeing a white and blue vehicle in the area that raised a red flag. They scoured Roebuck for the vehicle and turned up a possible match. Mary Ann Vick, one of Dana's customers, had a similar car. The witness said the Vick vehicle was not a perfect match with the one he'd seen, though. While investigators awaited results of the grape kit sent to the crime lab for processing, they spent months painstakingly interviewing Dana's customers. A year went by, then 2. Investigators finally got a potential lead. A tip from an inmate who said his cellmate, Russell Quinn, carried a picture of Dana Satterfield and said he was involved in the crime. Police knew that prison chatter wasn't necessarily solid, but when Harris identified a mugshot of Quinn from a photo array as the man she saw jump from the shop window, they had a reason to be more confident. Those hopes were dashed, though, when Quinn's DNA didn't match the grape kit evidence. Science doesn't lie, said Gregory, adding that the team was back to square one. That's where the investigation into the brutal murder stayed for a decade. Those 10 years felt like an eternity to Dana's loving daughter, Ashley, who was 8 when her mother was slain. Investigators were acutely aware of the time, too. After a certain window, homicides are extremely difficult to solve. Trey Gowdy, Spartanburg County Solicitor's Office former prosecutor, explained to producers. Police first suspected that Dana's estranged husband, Mike, was the killer. His fingerprints were found on the water heater, which was next to her body. However, he told police that he had installed the water heater. He also noted that their breakup was amicable. Furthermore, he did not fit the description of the suspect. They also looked into the possibility that he had hired someone to murder her. However, they could find no evidence to support the theory. He is no longer considered a suspect because the brutal way she was killed did not match a professional hit. Police suspect that the killer may have stalked Dana. They believe he was a predator, possibly a serial killer even. A composite was made of the suspect, who was 18 to 25 years old, in 1995. 5'6" to 5'9" tall, 145 to 170 pounds, with blonde or light brown hair. They believe he drove a blue Ford Bronco with custom rims and out-of-state license plates. But in 2005, the case broke wide open. Thanks to a chance encounter between Dana's then 18-year-old daughter and Michael Pace, a local resident who'd harbored a dark secret for years. After investigating thousands of leads, in October of 2005, authorities arrested a local man named Jonathan Christian Vick. Remember that name from earlier? And they charged him with Dana's murder. He was also charged with kidnapping and criminal sexual conduct. Authorities had investigated Vick back in 1995 when he was 17. However, they did not have enough evidence to connect him until a witness, his friend Dave Pace, came forward. He claimed that on the day of the murder, Vick told him that he was going to meet Dana that night. David told police that Vick had threatened to kill him if he told anyone about visiting her that night. However, David was overcome with remorse years later after meeting Dana's daughter. He then decided to go to the police. Authorities matched semen from Dana's body to Vick's DNA. It was discovered that Vick also matched the physical description of the suspect and owned a Ford Bronco with custom rims. He had also been a customer of Dana's salon prior to her murder. His ex-girlfriend claimed that after the murder, he drove her to the salon and said that if she didn't listen to him, she would end up like that woman. Furthermore, While he was in the Marines, he assaulted several people and was known for having a violent temper. At Vic's trial, the defense noted that a public hair on her body did not match Vic, however. It was noted that the murder took place in the men's bathroom, meaning that the hair may have been left by a customer. In December of 2006, he was convicted of the charges and given a life sentence. In 2010, he was placed on prison lockdown after he assaulted another inmate. He will not be eligible for parole until 2035. Interestingly, Vic was a suspect in the 2002 disappearance of Michelle Whitaker until she was found alive and well in 2008. He is also a suspect in the disappearance of his girlfriend, Heather Sellers. The evidence was compelling, but investigators needed a written statement from Pace as well as Vic's DNA sample to advance their case. They managed to secure both. A decade after the murder, they learned that Vic's DNA matched the rape kit evidence. The 4-day trial began in November 2006. The jury deliberated for less than 20 minutes before returning with a guilty verdict of all counts: murder, criminal sexual conduct, and kidnapping. In 2006, Jonathan Vick was convicted of Dana's rape and murder and sentenced to life in prison. Dana's daughter Ashley, who was 8 years old at the time of her mother's death, later became a victim advocate for the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office, helping others who have experienced similar tragedies. Though the awful ache of losing her mother has never gone away, her daughter Ashley has helped herself heal by becoming a dedicated victims advocate. I'm sorry if you guys can hear my furnace. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you want me to do more of these. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell icon so you will be notified when I upload more videos. And I will see you guys in the next video.